Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our SmartDepart travel series brought to you today by AAA Travel. My name is Allison Philistine-Yor, and I'll be your host this afternoon. I'm thrilled to be here with you all to continue our discussions on safe travel. Here at AAA, we're focused on bringing our members the information they need to ensure safety while traveling, whether it's on the road, in the air, or on the seas, and providing you guidance and peace of mind for future travel planning. Today, we're focused on escorted tours, the new safety protocols being developed, what to expect, and how to keep yourselves and your loved ones safe as we get back to planning for future travel again. I'll introduce the members of our panel shortly, but first, a bit of housekeeping before we get started. I'd like to thank all of you for being here today, and especially those of you who took the time to submit questions before our panel ahead of time. Feel free to submit a question as we go through in the Q&A box down in the bottom of your presentation. And while we might not be able to get to every single one of your questions, we'll do our best. And as always, our AAA travel team is standing by to assist. So feel free to reach out to them, either in your local branch or at AAA.com/travel. Our beloved travel agents have moved mountains for their clients and our members over the past few months. They've reworked travel plans, ensuring the best terms and value for their members, and always ensuring that they have the most up-to-date information in a rapidly changing landscape. Our agents have worked so closely with these partners who are here with us today, and we really appreciate their time to talk us through escorted touring in the future. I know I, for one, can't wait to get back to exploring all the treasures of our world, and escorted touring is such an incredible way to travel. Think about it. All the details are taken care of. You have guides, all the bells and whistles. All you need to do is sit back and relax, taking in the magic of your destination. So today with us, we have a panel of experts representing 3 amazing tour operators here to talk about their safe travel practices. So let's get started. First, we have Kevin Carter from Member Choice Vacations. Member Choice Vacations brings their travelers to all 7 continents, and they're the first travel operator to return to operations. Kevin, thanks so much for being here with us today and helping us kick off. What can you tell us about returning to operations with your departures here in the US?
Absolutely, thank you so much. So our first departures, we had 6 departures in July, and they went really well, and I have some fantastic slides on that. So what we've done is we're looking at tours and destinations by case basis. If we're able to operate safely and the integrity of the tour is not impacted and they can get a full experience, we are traveling in that case. So we're looking at it, and again, US destinations, some destinations we're able to adhere to the policies, the safety procedures. So we've really enhanced our experience, and that is part of our traveling well experience, which I'll review. Sorry, next slide. There we are. The traveling well experience. So this is our commitment to the traveler and the travel agent. And you'll notice on the next slide, it's our promise and what our guidelines and procedures and protocol are. So we've asked every traveler to complete a wellness declaration form before joining the tour. We will provide face masks and pre-tour documents for each guest. We'll review our Sedan service, which is private Sedan service later on, but that is obviously going to be disinfected after every passenger. We're operating tours with smaller groups. I have a slide on that just to explain that a little bit. Enhanced training for our tour managers that do work for us, so we can train them. We don't use independent guides, so they're familiar with our member choice protocol and the American Traveler. Motor coaches will be disinfected often and have hand sanitizer available at all times. We're using 50% capacity for 50 seaters, so we will not go over that number for the foreseeable future. And we continue to work with our partners, restaurants, on social distancing and protocol. If we're not able to use a vendor or a restaurant, they're not doing group, we're obviously going to reimburse that portion. But obviously, if the tour is impacted and they're not getting a full experience, we're not considering opening up those tours. And protocols have been put in place for our guests and tour managers if they start to feel unwell during the tour. This is our small groups. Now, these are our classic tours that typically are 44. They were averaging around 34 to 36. Now we're going to be maxing out at 29 travelers. We're thinking they're averaging around low 20s. For instance, our first departure was South Dakota, and we had 30 travelers and members that still wanted to travel. And we split it up into 2 motor coaches with 2 guides. So we had 15 in each with a guide in each motor coach, and I'll review their experience later on. But this is our small group icon. So you'll see that this will be in our brochures and online. There'll be dates and itineraries that are opening up. And if you do feel comfortable and more comfortable traveling with smaller groups, this is what your agent can look for. Now, this is our philosophy. We need to plan to operate tours in an environment where COVID-19 exists. As such, we made a decision to resume tours operating in July, all domestic U.S. product operating for July and August. As I mentioned, we had 6 departures in July, and we are looking at 6 more in August. This list will expand as destinations begin to welcome American tourists, again, under potential challenging restrictions. So yeah, the EU has a lot to do with it. Borders have a lot to do with it, but we're looking at every tour, every destination as a case-by-case basis, and if we're able to operate safely. The web traffic and the bookings are up. We're having people pay in full. And if you notice the top tours that are searched in top regions, definitely US heavy, but also Italy, Ireland, Iceland, very, very encouraging information as far as what we're booking, what agents are booking, and people want to get excited. They want to look at the future, and these are some of the destinations that have been our top destinations, but it's great to see Italy and Europe on there. This is our tour. I thought I'd show some pictures of our first tour. We had some video and we sent marketing along. You'll notice people having masks on. This is the Tatanka Museum in South Dakota, and some great pictures. You'll notice the next one. People were socially distancing on the motor coaches. These people you'll notice some people don't have masks, but they were traveling as a group or their own separate bubble. And people felt comfortable right at first. They were a little anxious, but then they were comfortable. They still remained distant and socially distant, but they said the overall experience was absolutely fantastic, and they would travel with member choice again, which is really what it's all about. So member choice, we use 4-star properties, not to get too much into product, but we do list our hotels. We do use 4-star, some 5-star properties. We do list them on our brochures and online. We're very proud of them. We'll contract them in person. Good news is we can work with these vendors person to person so they can adhere to our protocol and safety procedures. If they're not able to, we're not going to run the tour, or we'll use a different vendor or hotel. You'll notice that we used to say strategically, centrally located, but now we say strategically located. These are some of our hotels that are in Finland. These are the Igloo hotels, obviously not centrally located. We typically use centrally located hotels in big cities like Rome, London, New York, but these are iconic. They're Instagram worthy, they're bragging right worthy, and I think they're some of the most iconic hotels in these areas that we're visiting. Also, meals. We've really upped our game in the last 15 years. Years ago, people just wanted 3 meals a day and 8 hours of sightseeing. Now they kind of want to explore on their own. They want to be acclimated to the area. They want to really taste the region. And they said, you know, breakfast as leisure is fine, but if you're going to include a dinner, it better be an experience. So what we've done on the next slide, you'll notice we've done some home-hosted meals, progressive dinners, dine-arounds, interactive classes, exclusive experiences really that you can't get. And then people want to try the regional specialties. They want to taste the flavors of the region where they're traveling to, and we've really upped our game. So in most cases, we're getting out using local restaurants and really trying the local cuisine. And then really, we're not a very option-driven company. You're going to see the must-sees. The options that we do include may not include, might be zip lining or balloon ride, but we do the must-sees, the Rome Colosseum, dinner in the Eiffel Tower. Those are the things that are iconic to these regions that we're including. So on average, we do about 2 to 4 options per 8 to 10 day trip to Europe. So just to let you know, we do the must-sees, and you're not a lot of out-of-pocket once you get on tour, which is very important. And AAA members save on every tour, every time. This is combinable with any offers and loyalty credit. It's $50 on every tour, and then up to $75 optional credit, again, on any tour. And this is, as I mentioned, the loyalty credit. If you've traveled with Member Choice Vacations before, this is $150 per person. And due to COVID-19, we are extending this to 2 years for the loyalty program. So if you've traveled in 2018, it's good through 2021. And also if you've traveled now, it will be good for 2 years. So that's per person, again, combinable with all member benefits and offers in the industry. Just want to thank AAA and having me, and just want to say thank you so much, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Kevin. It's so inspiring to see that operations are beginning again, and we have so many great treasures here to explore in our own country here in the US. We love to see travelers out experiencing that. I want to pass it along to Anthony Rich from Insight Vacations, a member of the Travcorp family of brands. Anthony, I know that Insight is looking forward to borders reopening just like we are. Can you share with us some of the developments at Insight?
Sorry about that, I was muted. While the borders are beginning to open, we actually have made the very difficult decision. We won't operate until the end of November. There were just some things there where we have a level of excellence that we adhere to in providing a product, and if we're not able to meet those, from the restaurants to the hotels that are open, etc., we won't operate our trips. But having said that, people are still booking for the end of this year and for next year as well. And you mentioned part of the how we're part of the Travcorp family of brands, and with that in mind, we as Guided Vacations with the Travel Corporation have come up with this peace of mind so that you can book not just with Insight and Luxury Gold, but with all our Guided Vacations, knowing that we're flexible. There's a zero cancellation policy for rebooking for future travel credits, and those credits are interchangeable. You can give those to family. We have well-being protocols, which I'm going to get into, and we're financially stable. I know in this time, people are nervous about dealing with companies that are being hit hard. And look, we're all being hit hard financially, but we've had a $300 million evaluation from a third party on just our Red Carnation properties alone, and that's after debt and that's after cost. So for all the trips we'll be running next year, you don't have to worry. You're booking with a corporation that is financially stable, and that's a huge part of booking with comfort and booking with ease. Luxury Gold and Insight Vacations, these are our two. Insight Vacations is the upper premium guided vacation brands, and Luxury Gold is the 5-star luxury guided vacation brand. And I wanted to talk about, as part of the Travel Corporation, those brands are adhering to these safety protocols that obviously moving forward is going to be so important when booking guided vacations. And first and foremost, we have been awarded the Safe Travel Award by the World Travel, Tourism, and Council. That means our protocols, our social distancing measures have been up to a certain standard that has allowed us to win this award. And if you can just click on the first image there, right? So it's 3 phases of our well-being protocols. 1, always on support team. Okay, that means expertly trained travel director. We've always had some of the best travel directors in the business. It's a 2-year training program to become a travel director, and they work for us. They are not independently contracted. But we've also added a well-being director. So besides this travel director, there will be another person employed by us on the motor coach or wherever these trips are going to make sure well-being is being taken care of. That means sanitizing the seats in the motor coach, scouting out a restaurant where we may be having dinner to make sure that socially distancing is available and to make sure it adheres to the cleanliness protocols. Our drivers are also being trained on ways of keeping the motor coach safe and ways of dealing with the guests. And we have a global around-the-clock support team. So if there is some sort of incident, God forbid, someone becomes ill, there is an available person globally 24/7. Someone can be reached at all times. The second phase is our hygiene protocols and distancing. One, we are administering a pre-health declaration, and that means that all team members and guests will complete a personal well-being declaration before actually joining their trip. If a guest has in fact tested positive or is traveling with someone that had, they will not be able to join unless they are cleared, fit for travel. So going on that trip that everyone joining you on that guided vacation has been cleared by a medical professional. The second is sanitized surfaces. Frequently touched surfaces inside your coach, handrails, doors, table, everything will be disinfected multiple times a day. Excuse me. And then the air filters, of course, right? Our coaches, which I'm going to get into the coaches next, because the way our coaches are built are really perfect for making you feel safe on these trips. But our coaches are equipped with air filters that are inspected and cleaned daily and replaced regularly. So you're traveling with purified air inside the motor show. And then our quality assurance. I mentioned the well-being director, and that person will be responsible for the quality assurance of all hotels, restaurants, and other venues. Hygiene equipment. Hand sanitizer is going to be frequently available. We ask that you bring your own. We don't require, but we do ask if you want gloves, if you want face masks, bring them. But if you misplace them, if you forget to bring them, they will be provided for you. And then smaller groups, as you know, or you may not know, but Insight Vacations, we average 33 people on all our trips, and we max it 40. So we have smaller groups. And then Luxury Gold is all small group departures with the average around 20 people. And then our domestic escapes journeys, which we just launched, actually maximizes at 22 people. And then the last thing is the priority access. So with the priority access on the landmark sites, we're skipping the lines. We're VIP entry, and that's going to give you a lot more social distancing and keep you away from the crowds, which ultimately keeps you more safe. So that's the second phase. And number third is the 24/7 incident response. It is always up to date. We have incident response protocol. So new protocols are launched. We're staying up to date with that. And people often ask, well, what's the mass protocol or what's the group size protocol? And the question is, it depends on where we are, because we are adhering to the laws of the area where we are. If we have a trip that has multiple countries, we may have 2 different sets of rules where, in this certain area, we're required to wear a mask. This area, it's not required. We advise, but we can't make people if those aren't the laws of that particular region. And you'll see there the TTC exclusive stamp. I'm really proud of that. That well-being director, we do have an exclusive on that. We are the only guided vacation brand that is providing a well-being director along with the travel director. Now, I do want to make a quick point. This person is trained in hygiene protocols. They are not medically trained. They do not have a medical background. I just want to make that clear. They have a background in being a travel director, and they've just been retrained to focus their efforts on hygiene and protocol. If you want to go to the next slide, I think right there. Okay, that is the beauty. You're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, the Rolls Royce of motor coaches. Okay, our motor coaches have twice the legroom and twice the view. And if you could click again, and you can see a lot of motor coaches that you would take in the various destinations in Europe or maybe through the national parks. You're looking at a 53-seat coach where people are sort of cramped in versus our coach. We actually took the same model and we ripped out 13 seats to provide that business class legroom. You're safer, you're further away from people, and even better, you have the view. And this is an Insight exclusive. We're the only guided brand that has that motor coach. And if we could go on to the next slide.
Oh, seems like we have a little bit of a delay there. Thank you so much, Anthony. It's so impressive what Insight and the TTC family is doing, and the well-being directors are so important, and it's just so excellent that you've got that exclusive piece out there for your travelers, adding to the peace of mind for the future. And also knowing that Insight travelers can explore domestically in the US with your new portfolio of products. So we're really excited to learn more about that. Now I want to turn it over to Lucas Bielecki, the head of sales for Club Adventures. Thank you so much for making the time to be with us today, Lucas. We really appreciate it. Can you share some of the undertakings at Club Adventures? What can our travelers expect in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. Our team at Club Adventures has worked diligently over the past several months, really trying to pave the way forward for traveler safety. So we are a small group adventure travel operator. We travel to 6 of the 7 continents, and safety and security of our AAA travelers has always been paramount, but more than ever, we're focused on ensuring safe travel when borders reopen. If you could click to the next slide. So Club Adventures, we specialize in small group adventure travel. One thing to note is we are AAA owned and operated. So our entire team is part of the AAA family, from our reservations team, who are all AAA agents, to our product and operations teams. Again, all part of that AAA family and part of the AAA legacy. So because of that, we've been able to stand by our agents and our travelers through this time. And of course, like many of you, we can't wait to return to the wonderful adventures and authentic discoveries, and really just connecting with the local communities that welcome us all over the world. So in this new landscape, we've really worked very hard putting together safety guidelines and plans with the guidance of the CDC, the World Health Organization, and of course, USTOA, the United States Tour Operator Association. So, again, being AAA owned, the importance of safety is always top of mind. And also, we know our members and our travelers come to us because we give them peace of mind. So we've worked really hard allowing our travelers to travel confidently, looking at hotels and inclusions that are vetted and monitored for cleanliness and safety. And not just when we're planning these trips. This will be ongoing, where we're constantly checking in and making sure things are up to standard. We realize, I've heard the term bubble a couple of times today. So travelers are sometimes not always wanting to jump into the public pool just yet, and they want to stay within their own personal bubble. So we have reduced private group sizes to as few as 6 travelers in select destinations. We're also adjusting our final payment date. Previously, it was 60 days prior to departure, and we've moved to 45 days prior to departure, just to give our travelers a little bit more flexibility as they get closer to their adventure. And our movable deposit policy has always been a fantastic policy for our travelers, but anytime outside of the final payment date, our travelers decide they want to postpone their trip or move it, we have the freedom to change to any other date. If they want to rebook the trip to next year, they can even rebook any other Club Adventures product that they want to. And we will keep them on file as well for up to 24 months if they're not quite ready to get back out there. So as far as safety, when we return to adventure again, we will definitely do it safely. And I mentioned we're a small group operator. Our trips are no more than 16 travelers. So just our regular group size alone naturally lends itself to more space and freedom while traveling. Of course, like some of the other presenters today, we will ask our travelers to share a wellness check document with their local leader at the beginning of the trip. Our local leaders are absolutely going to play a major role in ensuring safety of our travelers throughout. They're going to be monitoring health and safety during the entire trip. They've been trained in the standards of cleanliness and abiding by the local guidelines. And what's great too is we've got an entire network of local offices around the world. So we'll always have access to top-notch healthcare wherever in the world that we are. We will be asking our travelers to wear face coverings when social distancing is not easily available. Of course, hand sanitizer will be available for all transportation. And at AAA, we've got an incredible insurance partner, Allianz Travel, which provides excellent trip interruption, cancellation, and of course, medical coverage if needed. And we're always expanding our products to continue to evolve and meet our travelers' needs for today's traveler. So with our Club Adventures, small group adventures, we're expanding our tour portfolio for 2021 to include more trips in the US, Canada, as well as Mexico. Women Explorers continues to be very popular for us. These are curated departures with female travelers in mind, bringing together like-minded travelers who are in search of female-focused experiences. And then new this year, we've got American Experiences, which offer the same unique inclusions and experiences that Club Adventures offers, but for a more personalized, customizable road trip for those looking to explore on their own.
That's fantastic, Lucas. Thank you so much. Small group adventure travel is such an incredible way to experience the world. And I think you've got your private group slide up here, and that's perfect. I was going to ask, can you tell us a little bit more about what that means to travel in your bubble in a small group?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're like me, you're very eager to get out there and travel the world again. So like we were saying before, you know, we're lovingly calling it the bubble, your personal travel bubble, which could be a small group of your friends or family members or both. And we noticed this trend in the industry, and we've met the trend by reducing our private group size. So previously, we required a minimum of at least 10 people. Now you can book with as few as 6, and you have your own private group. So you can have a couple of friends and a couple of family members, and before you know it, you're off to begin your adventure. So if this is something you're interested in, definitely reach out to your AAA travel advisor who can help you organize air. And even if you want to customize an itinerary, as you can see, you just need at least 10 people to entirely make the trip your own.
Wow, that sounds like a totally fantastic way to dip our toe back into traveling again when the time is right. So I know our AAA agents are really excited about that. And, you know, I do want to explore that idea a lot more. That sounds awesome. Throwing it back to you, Kevin, for a second. I think Member Choice Vacations has a private sedan service, right, to and from the airport. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that will impact travelers in the new normal?
Yes, we've had it for almost probably 17 years now. It's private sedan service. It is a private sedan, basically limo service that is round trip, 50 miles each way. And it is for any tour booked, land and air. So the sedan service is absolutely fantastic. It's a great way to start and begin your trip. In certain areas of the country, this could be anywhere from a $200 to $400 value. Outside of 50 miles, we have expanded to 75 miles for a small surcharge, depending on distance. But really, it does not need to be the member's physical home address. Many agents know that, but if they can get within that 50 miles or 75 miles, they can use a family or friend's home and really use that service. But it is private. They are being disinfected after every use. And, thinking about it, you do want that private to and from the airport. But many people come back from our tours and we ask them how it was, and they talk about that sedan service more than where they just came back from. So they absolutely love the service. Sometimes they ask about the service and they book a cruise the next year. They price it out and they realize the value after the fact. So it's a great way to travel, great value, and again, a great way to begin and end your trip.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. Just that personalized touch to be able to have that door-to-door service and also have the safety and security of having it sanitized at every use. Yeah, that's a royal touch. We've got some other questions coming in here. Why don't I toss this one to you, Anthony? What advice would you give our members about booking escorted travel for the future?
I would say to do it. No, I'm just kidding, sort of. But number one, insurance. Make sure you book with insurance. We don't know where the European Union is. Number two, make sure it's a company like the ones that I've presented today that are taking those safety measures, those safety protocols, those hygiene protocols. And number three, it's about how you feel. Okay, so make sure that you feel safe traveling. There's a million questions one could ask about the current status of things right now, and really and truly, you ask 10 times, you get different answers. So it's about how do you feel and the safety level that you're going to feel traveling, and make sure that you feel comfortable, and book with an agent. Do not book on your own because an agent, travel advisor, is going to help you answer so many questions. And that's in general, but even more so now that you're going to have. They're going to be able to help you with the assistance of the brand they're booking with, like Insight Vacations or Luxury Gold. They're going to be able to keep you up to date because everything is changing so fast.
And is there a feature with TTC for a reduced deposit that might allow for our members to make the commitment to travel in the future without having to break the bank right now?
I'm so glad you asked, and the answer is yes. And I don't know what happened. I had a slide, but that's okay. We can talk about it now. For Insight Vacations and Luxury Gold, we have a $99 deposit. Okay, so that book. Now is the best time to book for next year. The prices are never going to be better, and you don't have to worry about putting a lot of money down because, as Allison said, we have a $99 deposit policy right now. And if you book with Luxury Gold, we also have that sedan service to and from. So that's part of it as well. So now is a great time to book for the future.
Fantastic. Thanks, Anthony. And one more question for you, Kevin. Lots of travelers, at least our members throughout the AAA network across the country, have travel plans either slated for the remainder of 2020 or into 2021. Do you have any guidance that you can share with them?
Absolutely. Since we're looking at every departure on a case-by-case basis, if they can hold tight we've reduced the final payment to 30 days, in some cases 45 days, looking at every departure. And then we're giving options. If we are canceling, we're giving full refunds back with 2 other options of moving their date to a later date, price protected, or vouchers worth 105% of what they've deposited already. So there are options. Hold tight. We're not running tours that we can't run safely or can't adhere to our procedures. So that's very, very important. And you're in great hands with AAA, the AAA advisor. You know, that human connection at a time of social distancing is key. People, it's nice to know that you have a travel advisor, but there are so many companies out there that you're on wait times for 3, 4, 6 hours, getting disconnected. It's so key and crucial to have that AAA travel advisor like Anthony talked about. You're in great hands with AAA and your agent.
Thanks so much, Kevin. And I know, most travelers want to travel. They don't want to have to cancel or postpone their plans. And our agents across the country work tirelessly every day to make those decisions with their members. So thank you so much for calling out that personal touch. It's something we really believe in. And I'll toss that to you, Lucas. I take a look into your crystal ball, I guess, if you don't mind. What do you think will happen when travelers begin to come back to exploring the world?
I wish I had a crystal ball. People want to get back to exploring. I think it's just kind of human nature. We have this wanderlust, especially for those of us that, have that travel bug. And I think travel is more meaningful now than it's ever been before. And I know again, just using myself as an example, there's pent up demand and people are not only wanting to travel, but they're wanting these once in a lifetime experiences, like going to Machu Picchu in Peru, or sleeping under the stars in the Sahara Desert of Morocco, or sipping on limoncello in the Amalfi Coast of Italy. So, I would just recommend when people are comfortable and the time is right, this is the best time to travel. And this is a great time to start planning it.
Great. Thank you so much, Lucas. That's really insightful. And thank you for giving us a little mini virtual tour to some of our favorite places with those couple of mentions there. I really appreciate it. And back to you, Anthony, in terms of, what are you anticipating to be your top selling trips in 2021? Are you seeing any trending destinations at Insight?
Apologies. Speaking of crystal balls, we took a crystal ball and thought domestic would be the one filling up, but we are booking tons of Europe. So we will see an influx in domestic, particularly with the national parks and Hawaii, but Europe will still be the driving force for Insight Vacations and Luxury Gold as well.
Awesome. That's really great to hear. And I think we're seeing similar trends on the AAA side of travelers looking forward to next year, putting 2020 behind us and planning for future travel. They say that one of the best benefits of booking travel is the anticipation of your trip. 60% of the joy of travel happens before you even leave. So it's really awesome to have something great to look forward to for next year. And Kev, one last question. What are you anticipating looking forward to yourself personally when you get to travel again?
Wow, that's a good question. Yeah, I think just travel in general, anywhere. Send me anywhere and I'll go. But there's so many places to see and return to. So just really looking forward to leaving the house. I think we're all in that boat.
I have to agree. Anywhere will do. Although a fantastic adventure somewhere far afield would be great too. But yeah. Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for your time today. It was really excellent to connect. I know you've given me such peace of mind about what the tour industry in general is doing and how active you've been in working with groups like USTOA and the CDC and the WHO to create these groundbreaking practices. And I think it's so extraordinary how the industry has come together in a non-competitive way to ensure the safety of travelers moving forward. So for any of you who are out there listening to the presentation that have follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to visit your local branch or call your local office to speak to your AAA travel agent. We're always here for you. And thank you guys so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Allison.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.